playing with my lineups a little bit. That's what I'm doing. This is a good lineup. I like this lineup. We got Dr. Fax in the building. We got Beau on Zoom, even though there's a construction site next to his house, and he's thinking about calling the city of Tampa because he has a decibel reader.
Yeah, those motherfuckers don't know how much time I have on my hands, Chris.
Okay, you're down to one fuck.
Oh, we're doing this every week?
Let's raise it to 5 this week. You know, we're gonna
I had 0 last week, so it should carry over.
We're building habits.
7.
We're building fucking habits, Beau. All right. So, and by the way, though, I did see something like that was viral this week that like more intelligent people use cuss words more.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen that also.
And that's good. Like, that's the best news I ever got.
So do you think a lot more parents are going to let their kids cuss and feel like that's something?
No chance. No chance. I don't.
But if you believe that, then why wouldn't you?
Well, I'm not going to let my kids cut. Intelligent people drive cars too.
All I know is, Chris, if that's true, I'm smart as fuck.
You are smart, Beau. And all right, so like first things first, we've been some people pointed out, friends, listeners of the show pointed out that we have neglected layup line. I vow to be better about layup line. Lord knows I'm listening to plenty of music. Layup line today, Long Journey Home, Billy Strings, new single. Cowboy, you approve?
Big time. Anything Billy Strings is approved by Studio J.
We love Billy Strings, dude. We love Billy Strings. Nate, you got to check them out. What you know what we're going to do? Because on Amazon Amp, I'm going to play you like a song every week on Amazon Amp because we're starting that Thursday. Check us out, 4:30.
Nice.
I'm going to play you like this week. We're going to do some Dark Side of the Moon. I've been telling you to listen Dark Side of the Moon. We're going to listen Dark Side of the Moon together, and then you get to react to it.
A live react.
Yeah, live react.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are these people that you know personally? Like any of these people that like you're gonna like let me listen to?
No.
Cool.
I'll warn you before you shit on
like
one of my friends.
Yeah. Like
I don't know Roger Waters.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Okay. Monday night, my last night, y'all's 2 nights ago. It's Tuesday afternoon time of tape. I called Reed. I just had to talk to somebody about this game, the Monday night game. It had everything, and some of it was not good, Bob. It was just, it was a wildly exciting, entertaining game with a great ending. 2 competitive teams. You had Patrick Mahomes. You had, Devontae Adams. You have Darren Waller for a bit. Max Crosby, beautiful game to look at.
Travis Kelce?
Yeah, I'm forgetting the guy scored 4 touchdowns. There's so many great players on that field, and it's Arrowhead, and it's Kansas City and Vegas. It's a rivalry, and it's fun, man. But the thing that ruined the night for me was the Chris Jones call.
Brutal, yeah. And the 3 of us are D linemen, so it's hard to not freaking immediately jump onto that. But yeah, ruin the night.
I think what's interesting is, number one, this guy, Cheffers, he's the official who was shooketh, by the way. When you heard him get on the I mean, his voice was
a little watery.
Yeah,
it's like when you get watery, man. It's like when you get up to do a group presentation that you're not really that ready for and you're nervous about.
Yeah,
That's what he sounded like, man.
Or the presentation that you plagiarized.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, how is this gonna go?
Uh-huh.
I speak for yourself, Dr. Fax. I'm in these HR classes right now, and I'm playing it by the book. You know?
We had an honor code at Virginia. Yeah. I don't know about you up there in Madison, but so this ref who's now in the crosshairs again, 2016, Kelsey called him by his name after a game and was like, he called this guy out. So maybe there's a little background going into the game. Not to mention, I'm pretty sure Chris Jones is on, the officials' most wanted list because, not only that terrible call, they missed the hold on him late in the game. I know we're going to talk about some of the calls that were missed on the Raiders side, but, he also in recent weeks was flagged in a big situation that might have had a hand in them losing the game to Indy. So it kind of cost them that game. It's kind of like the Chargers-Browns this week. Like in a couple of weeks, that's going to look like a loss for both teams to me. Even as I sit here today, I feel like Brandon Staley lost that game with the Keenan Allen tweet and everything. But that cost them the game. One of the things that cost them the game was that 15-yard penalty he had. And why he had it was he walked by Matt Ryan and said something, which I still want to know what he said to Matt Ryan. It had to be incredible or just awful for them to flag him because he didn't even look threatening. I mean, the guy's 325 pounds. He rolls out of bed and looks it looks scary, dude. So I mean, he on the Chris Jones looking scary scale, that was like a 1, and they flagged him. So whatever he said must have been pretty bad. I feel like he got the short end of the stick here in a big way, and I was so incensed that I boycotted the third quarter. I had to do a fridge talk. I was like, I'm not watching this fucking game. Yeah, I had the Chiefs laying a touchdown. Yeah, I doubled down on Chiefs money line, and I'm so thankful I did live. But I took to the freezer, and I talked about this last night, man. So much has changed since we got in the league, Nate. You know, like you got in the league what year? 2011?
Yeah, 2010, 2011.
Yeah, 2011. When in 2011, even we hadn't gone with, you know, there wasn't the below the knees deal.
The Brady rule.
There wasn't the Brady rule, which obviously came into effect because of Brady. Now we have the landing with your weight rule, aka the Anthony Barr rule. So you're being reactive when a good quarterback gets hurt, and you're making these rules up as you go. When I was in the league in 2011, 2010, I can vividly remember hitting Josh Freeman in the head. Okay, I went down to Tampa. I had a pretty good game. I was after his ass, sacked him earlier. He got rid of the ball, and he's so tall. I was going up to block the pass, but ended up, when you go up to block a pass, but you end up kind of hitting somebody at the same time, because it's hard for you to change course in the air. And the next day, I'm just enjoying some fucking toasted ravioli in St. Louis watching NFL Live, and I see Trent Dilfer puts me in the spotlight on NFL Live, and the next day, actually 2 days later, I get a FedEx. I don't think they caught that until Trent Dilfer dry snitched on me. No ill will, Trent, but I was even okay at that point because I understood, like, we don't want to scramble dudes' eggs, man. Like, that's like, I get that part of it. I get the low thing, dude, because I've watched football with 2 backups. I've watched football with a backup in the playoffs, and you're like, damn, this sucks, man. And maybe, the NFL loses money, which hurts my pockets if good quarterbacks aren't on the field. So I'll be a good soldier there. But when the strike zone gets narrowed and we're calling penalties on Brian Burns in the fourth quarter of a Cleveland-Carolina game that leads to a Cleveland win, right? They won that game. For form tackling Jacoby Brissett, who's not even like Jacoby Brissett's not going to hurt the bottom line in the NFL. So we've just come too far. And then last night, I felt like a day after Grady Jarrett, I felt gaslit. I really did as a fan. I felt fucking gaslit because I was like, this is a game where we're going to do the opposite. We're going to let these guys play because they have to read their mail, right? They did it with Tua. Can you read the mail this week? People hate you for what happened to Grady Jarrett.
Some players like Aaron Donald make it look so easy to get these sacks, and you don't understand how hard it is when you get a clean win and you're bearing down on a quarterback. I mean, this is something I know. I've had thousands of sacks, thousands of clean rushes.
I know you have, bro.
As a nose guard in the NFL. But, like, you beat an O-lineman and he's hanging off of you. He's pushing you in the back trying to get you by the quarterback. You can't hit him low. You can't hit him high. And then you have a perfect sack like Grady Jarrett did or – like Chris Jones did last night. It's like, what the fuck do you want us to do, man? I'll take a swear for that one because it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
Like on Sunday, I was watching the game, the Bucs game I know we're talking about the Monday Night Football game, but it's just hard to not get worked up about that. And we're all D linemen and we've been there. It is so hard. It's pretty frustrating.
2 points on that. For one, do you feel like if Mahomes, when that happened, if he got up immediately and like lobbied to the ref, kind of like how Tom Brady did, like, hey, protect me, do you think that might have influenced one of those refs to be like, maybe we should call this?
You mean when Mahomes got slung later in the game?
Yes.
Because they missed that.
Yes, and right? That's what I'm saying. It was exactly the same play that happened with the Brady, the same type of tackle where it was like, as a D lineman, like sometimes you have to follow through on tackles, and I just feel like it looks worse than maybe it is. But as a defender trying to tackle someone, you can't let go too early. Guys are athletic and they bounce off the ground. They can stay up.
Even unathletic guys can get rid of the ball. Look at the David Tyree helmet catch.
Exactly.
That's the type of thing that if somebody was gun shy there, I just think of all the plays where if you let a quarterback, if you kind of hold a quarterback up and they don't blow it dead and that quarterback completes a pass, especially with a Patrick Mahomes. And Derek Carr, he didn't get a chance to lobby. And here's the thing that bothers me so much about that call, and everybody else has pointed out, but Chris Jones is 325. He's putting 260 pounds of his body weight. That was a hell of a nice thing to do by him, but he wasn't doing it to be nice. he had the ball in his fucking hand, so it negates a fumble. And a big part of that ball game, I mean, if they get that ball before the half and go down and score a touchdown, it's a big swing.
So here's another thing, what you were saying that. So are we in the NFL, are they policing, are they basically body shaming like D linemen? Because it's like, hey, like think about it. Think about when a corner or a safety gets a sack. They land their whole body weight on a quarterback.
Yep.
Are they ever going to call a penalty on that?
Yep.
And it's because they're smaller. It's the optics, and you can still. At me as a safety, I can still crack a quarterback's clavicle if I land on him with all my body weight. But
quarterback can get his clavicle cracked outside the pocket any play.
Anything. So that's what I'm saying. I think it's just some of these things, it's more of the optics looking bad. And it's like, how are you guys like really judging all this on the spot? And is it maybe that they have certain guys that they're like, hey, we're going to watch this, we're going to watch that? Because if it's not that, if they're not giving an explanation, like what's really going on?
Well, here's the deal. It's about money, dude. It's otherwise they'd litigate this everywhere. It's not about safety. It's about money. It's about safety for quarterbacks. And like
but with saying that, like, why aren't they protecting Mahomes? Like, Mahomes is he's one of the premier quarterbacks.
Because it's arbitrary, and I think they also hold certain guys' mobility against them. And inherently that becomes, like a dicey situation because a lot of lawn deer type guys look like me, right? So, when Lamar's not getting the same protection that now, like somebody like Josh Allen, that big, strong motherfucker can run and the whole thing. But, there's also, to the point, there's a lot of quarterbacks who are I've said this story on the pod before. I broke my rib tackling Cam Newton because he fell on me. Did she flag him? He fell on me, dude.
Full body weight, Cam Newton on you.
Yeah, I need the 15 there. So I think, there's a lot of ramifications to this. One being the NFL looks disjointed, and they've looked this way over the past decade at different times. Like whether it was DPI getting called at a higher click, whether it was going to call holding more they make it up as they go. And, if it's not for prime time, I don't know if people get this mad about this game. So we've had 2 plays in prime time over the past couple of weeks that have really dictated the narrative in the NFL. And it's going to be interesting to see because they're going to meet about this next week as owners, I guess, and then as a competition committee in the offseason, where they're going to go with this. I have a radical idea, and it's not review. And I know that you think review, Beau, and I know that most people might think the prevailing thought is to review these bad boys. But I think you got to go backwards and take that body weight part of the rule out, because that's the one thing we have. We can form tackle a quarterback, and if guys are starting to play scared in the pocket, it sucks. And eventually, if this turns into tag football, not only is it lame, and I'll finally join the group of people who have lamented how soft football has become, because until this point, I've kind of been like, yeah, go play a football game and tell me it's a pillow fight, bro. This is your Lester Hayeses of the world, and yeah, they were bad motherfuckers, but these collisions are huge, and they're all over the field. But where it's gotten is now, if in 10 years we're watching the game and it's like tag football in the pocket, I'm going to be mad as a pass rusher because a bunch of guys are going to be like, tag, that's a sack. So how's that number going to stack up against my numbers and shit like that? You're going to be hating on guys.
Think about how many practice sacks you had.
Bro, I missed
career.
30 sacks. But legitimately in the NFL, I missed 30 sacks. Because I wasn't a great tackler. I was more of a disruptor than a finisher. I ended up with 70. I could have had a hundo if we were doing tag football.
But also, too, for a player safety, like all these regulations that they're doing to protect the quarterback, like realistically, at some point, you're starting to put non-safety on the tacklers. Because me as a D lineman, me trying to adjust my body not to fall my entire weight on somebody, that means I have to either put my arm and my shoulder at risk, putting it down in an awkward position where bodies are falling on top of us, or I have to try to turn awkwardly, not knowing where I'm going, and you roll over guys' ankles. You do a whole bunch of unnatural stuff that I think at the end of the day, it just starts making another problem if they're going to be, if they don't really get this under control. Because just like you said, unless you're going to change it to two-hand touch or some type of definitive like tag or whatever it is, like how are you gonna keep policing this, and or like what's how are you going to change this rule so everyone understands what's going on and what they're looking for?
Ultimately, we have to decide if quarterbacks are football players. That's it, man. Like, like Lamar Jackson bulked up in the offseason. Maybe some of y'all should hit the fucking gym and just realize that you're football players like everybody else. If you're willing to tuck it and run it a couple times a game, you're probably going to get hit hard and tackled. It's not player safety. Player safety would apply to a quarterback anywhere on the field. What it is you're protecting the money, and ultimately you're hurting, like scoring's down this year. So, hey, we got to be a little bit harder on the pass rushers. You're protecting the bottom line. And I think what they'll find is that people don't, they love offense, but they don't want to see this. So it sucks. Hopefully something good comes out of it where the reaction pushes things backwards, because I've been called for low hits. When an offensive lineman pushed me into a quarterback, my momentum carried him into the quarterback. Maybe the quarterback didn't get out of the way, and I got blamed for it. I'm fine with all that, but the middle of the strike zone should be sacred for NFL players, and body weight shouldn't be a consideration.
But ultimately, too, what I don't like is that, and what fans might not realize, every time this penalty is called, that player is getting fined, and he's getting money taken out of his check, and that really isn't fair. With something like that happening, the fact that Chris Jones is going to get fined, maybe they send him a $15,000 fine, you appeal it, and it goes down to 7 Gs. Still, why should I have to take 7 Gs out of my paycheck because you guys made a judgment call? And at the end of the day, it's a call that, like, if you go around and look, like, it makes me as a player want to go and look at all these calls and be like, why isn't that a penalty? Why isn't that a penalty? But the fact that I have to give money out of my check, I don't think that's fair.
And the sack's off the board, so an incentive is fair game to lose.
Sack,
you could lose $1 million over that. You could lose $5 million over that. I had an incentive that was so fucking big one year, I hit it by 1 sack, 8.5. And had I been called, for roughing the passer, I would probably sue the fuck. I'd be livid. I'd be sick.
Yep.
Chris Jones has plenty of money. He's probably going to hit his incentives. But, for some guys, this could really wreck their not just their day. Okay, so the Raiders, man, they needed this one so badly. Okay, this would have been such a pull yourself out of this rut where the court of public opinion is saying you were in the playoffs last year. Now you're 1-4. So they've got 1 win so far. Everybody's mad at Josh McDaniels. You're asking, why is this team that went to the playoffs, fired their interim head coach, they got this shiny New England guy, and he can't win them any fucking ball games? I do want to add into the mix that contextually last year they won a lot of one-score games, I believe, and they were sub 500 going into December. So they went on a run, okay?
All 4 games, less than 14 points, I think, combined total.
I think less than 7, facts. I think they've lost by less than 7 points.
So we always know that, like, that can swing your perception of a team, and the team may not be that far off from the team last year or vice versa. But they needed this one badly. I want to bring up the other big comeback that Patrick Mahomes made in the past few years, and people remember this one. This is the playoff game that Bill O'Brien and the Texans, they let up a 21-0 lead, or maybe it was 24-0 actually, Cowboy. Yeah, because we went through this last night. It was 24-0. So they're down at the 13-yard line. In that game, and they've got this big lead, and they've had some good luck, right? They've had special teams luck, they've had turnover luck, and they have a chance to make a decision where they can go up another touchdown or kick the field goal. It's 4th and 1 on the 13. They lay up. People are, yelling at Bill O'Brien on Twitter. It's almost like he heard it because a few, minutes later, he gets too aggressive and he fakes a punt, which gets stuffed. Ultimately, they lose that game, right? So last night, I thought it was interesting because Bill O'Brien's a New England guy. Josh McDaniels, New England guy as well. He's not aggressive enough kicking to go up 17-0 on 4th and 2, and foregoes an opportunity to go up 3 touchdowns. Now, that's ultimately not enough, but it feels differently as a player when you're down 21-0, okay, in the first half. Later in the game, to draw a parallel, he's too aggressive by some people's standards, going for 2. So you have not aggressive enough early, which is the time to be aggressive. There's more possessions at the end of that football game. The later you go in the game, less possessions. You want to be a little bit more, conservative, fine. But early in the game, when you shouldn't be up because the other team's better objectively, and that was the case for Houston, plus they had luck, and for Las Vegas, you have to build a bigger lead. It's like playing the Warriors in basketball. Now, I mean, it's a little bit different, I'm sure, for an NBA head because, possessions, there's a ton of them, and you might want to slow it down, and taking the whole shot clock is useful, but that there's no lead that's safe against Patrick Mahomes. I don't care if it's MVS, Juju, and a bunch of fucking, found parts. He's still Patrick Mahomes. I'm here, is what he said. So, that motherfucker's Jason in Friday. You try to score points early and build your lead. And I thought that was interesting was both of them took the foot off the gas early and then they were aggressive late, but it's not enough. And when it comes to that decision late, and I think we're going to talk about analytics in a little bit, I don't hate it. I know that I'll probably get killed for this, but I don't hate it because you're taking the context of the situation into account, and Kansas City has been moving the ball up and down the field. You're on the road and all that. So I don't know if I would have done it, but
so our coaches going to get ultimately start getting paid less because if you're just going to follow, it's just playing Madden. That's like playing Madden and just asking Madden every single play. What's the point of playing the game? I get it if you do that, but it's just you as a coach, that's your flex, that you're picking plays or you're coaching the game. If you're gonna sit there and listen to a computer, at what point does it start being
But I don't think Josh was listening to the computer in this, and this is part of the interesting discussion about analytics. Is sometimes people are gonna blame analytics for things that aren't analytics driven. I think Josh is making that decision independent of analytics, which by the way, we're split on that decision. So. Interesting there. The Raiders, they have a chance to get back in this thing, and they're going to get back in this thing. The thing I alluded to this in the beginning of this discussion. The Raiders, they weren't as good as maybe we thought last year, and they're not as bad as we think the beginning of this year. They're still working it out between, Devontae and Derek, and they missed the tight end Waller for much of last night, so even more reason to go for the points early, right, in hindsight. And then the next 6 games, look at the teams that they play the next 6 games. It's extremely mid, as kids would say. It's the Texans, the Saints, the Jags, Broncos, Seahawks, and the Colts.
They got to take it one game at a time.
No question.
They're
you know how it is in a locker room. It's hard. You can think about all those games, but all it takes is to lose one of those to really crack the locker room to be damn, this fucking season's over.
Or all it takes is losing a game like that on the road to make you closer. No. Hey, remember how that felt, guys, when we were walking out of the stadium and they were throwing bottles at us and they were saying things to us, and remember how it felt to blow that lead. Let's never feel like that again. Yeah. I felt like their backs were against the wall, and maybe their backs are even more against the wall. Maybe maybe they've said enough is enough, and maybe this is what pushed it over the edge.
I'll give you a stat that maybe was in McDaniel's mind to make him go on that fourth down call. The Chiefs are now 12-9 with Mahomes as their starting quarterback when they faced a 10-plus point deficit since the start of 2018. During that stretch, all other quarterbacks are 156 and 873. That's a 1.152 percentage.
That's crazy, dude. And as people were saying, don't bet the Kansas City live line down 7-0 or down 14-0. Wait till it gets bigger. I bet it as soon as I got it at minus 170 early in the game when they were down 7-0, and dudes were wait. And every time the Raiders scored, people were looking at their phone this can't be. The odds aren't changing. You were getting even money at 17-0. So, these guys are, this is what they do. Okay, so they're leaving the field, and Devontae Adams, who found a Packers fan before the game, and it went viral, and he was I almost tweeted, I think Devontae Adams is a mensch, something to that effect before the game. I swear to you, I almost quote tweeted that. And I'm so glad I didn't. Not because I don't think it's true, but because it just would have been one of those things this didn't age well, which is my least favorite thing on the internet to read. Because
we get it though, right? We're all sitting here as former okay, let's just be honest about this, or at least maybe this is how I feel. I don't know if you guys agree, but Football's an emotional game. That's why everybody loves it. You put so much into it as a player. And, okay, what he did is wrong. You never ever shove somebody like that, especially not on the field, on your way off. Frustration's high. But how many times have you been in a locker room after the game? You're getting questions from media, stupid, pointed questions. They're trying to get a reaction out of you, and you want to just fucking go off.
Just shove Les Bowen.
Exactly. I mean, what he did is objectively not good, but I don't think it's out of the realm of, emotion. I don't think he should be crucified over it to the extent that I think he'll likely be suspended. I think it's very understandable given the emotional and physical aspects of the game. And right, it's wrong. I know that. But it's like, let's just be honest here. You're asking these guys to shut it off the moment they leave the football field, and you're barreling out into the locker room and someone's in your way. I mean, I think I could see, any one of us in that kind
I don't think. First off, I just want to say I don't think I would have done it.
Yeah, me either. He was completely wrong.
I wouldn't do it, but I've wanted to. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
He was being emotional, but I think about it like this. First off, I think the NFL, for these games, there's too many fucking people on the sideline.
I agree.
While the players are on the field, I think they should have some sort. I know you need to get pictures and all this shit, but realistically, it's too many people. There's too much access to us. And if you know that at the end of the game that guys are emotional, things like that, get everyone away until guys get into the locker room. And the fact that it's like this, me as a player, if I catch a pass out of bounds and I run into a sound guy or a video guy, and if I get hurt, can I sue that video guy? Because the fact that now that
you can sue, maybe you can't probably, but
now that guy can sue Devontae Adams for that, I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair. It's like, hey, if you're working and you're on the field and you're in the line of fire, you got to know that at the end of the day, if that guy's taking pictures during the game and Devontae Adams catches a touchdown and lands on his head and he gets pictures of it, he's not going to sue then.
Listen, the police report things over the top. Okay, with all the problems we have in our criminal justice system in this country, we don't need to file a police report against Devontae Adams for pushing a guy. Is it wrong? Absolutely. And by the way, Nate, your take of less people on the sidelines coming from a guy who gets press passes to take pictures at the Virginia game. I know. That's what I'm saying. It's like you would gladly turn that in.
And if I'm a crazy person, I can streak the field. I can do whatever I want. Yeah. But I have access. I'm close to these guys. Not saying that people who have, but I'm just saying when I think about it, you're just like, yo, there's a lot of people who actually have access to us as a player while we're down here.
I'm with you. Okay, so a couple things frame this discussion. Number one, he's frustrated. The last two plays of the game couldn't go on any worse for him. In fact, he collided with two people that were in his way in the last 3 minutes or before he exited the field. There was Hunter Renfrow who, listen, Devontae, I guess he's got to release outside, but Hunter's got to clear for the outside route. So Hunter's got to let him clear. They collide. He's really frustrated. And the play before that on, where they probably get in the field goal range and win that game, he's got to have that catch. And he knows it. And that wasn't even close to a catch, okay? I saw some Raiders fans, he's got the ball in his left hand the whole fucking time. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. I know there was some bad calls. There was definitely a hold on Max Crosby, but there was also a hold on Chris Jones late in that game. Had they lost that ball game, I'm going to want those 10 yards back. There was the field goal thing. That's fine. But there was a turnover that Chris Jones was negated on that. So it can go back and forth either way. But he's frustrated leaving the field, right? And Raiders players say that there were racial epithets thrown their way. There were bottles thrown at them. So, I don't know what kind of headspace he's in, right? He's full tilt fucking mad, and I've lost my temper before. But the guy ran in front of him, no question. Probably, at worst, pretty inconsiderate. At best, just oblivious, or he's under the gun and he's got to get somewhere.
Or it's a football reaction, and I just left a football game, and
I know
my hands are like, what?
No, but he pushed him. He extended and pushed him. And it's ultimately how you deliver this tape, because this is my least favorite kind of thing. After something like this happens in the coming hours, you get nothing in between. He's the devil. He should go to jail. Or why are we even talking about him? And it's usually it's unfair to Devontae Adams. He's the victim in this, that we're all talking about Devontae Adams. It's been like 4 hours. People are going to talk about Devontae Adams. He's not sitting in a fucking holding cell in Kansas City. He's on a private plane back to Vegas. So it's not like anything bad is happening to Devontae Adams by talking about this. But if you want to formulate a take that's balanced, we can acknowledge both things. The guy should be more considerate running in front of him. Devontae's mad. Who knows where his head is? But, and this is the key when you're giving a take, the prevailing take has to go on the back of your tweet. It can't go first. It can't go, Devontae's wrong, but the guy can't run in front of him. I saw a lot of guys fumbling over a tweet like that last night. No, it goes like this. The cameraman could be more considerate. It's chaos down there. He's upset, but Devontae Adams is wrong. He's wrong because he collided with him and then extended his arms and pushed the fuck out of this cat. Okay, like it's just a push.
How about
he's not a criminal.
How about this? At the end of the games, they have someone to put up those little fucking barriers near the tunnel, and until everyone from the team gets into the tunnel, no one can cross by.
Yep.
Good. Problem side.
President Nate Collins then.
They need a get back guy for the
a get back for the tunnel.
But I do think it does matter taking into consideration, like he did not see the guy until the very last second, but he's one of the best athletes on the planet. Like legitimately can get off press against the best players on the planet, can high point a football. You can't tell me that in a split second he can't decide not to extend his arms and push the fuck out of the guy.
And here's the thing. The NFL is going to suspend him, but I think they secretly love it. There's no such thing as bad press.
Do they, you think, suspend him?
You think
they're talking about suspending him, but
they're talking about suspending him. I think they do. Or at least find the shit out of him.
No, I don't think if they do suspend him, they need to change all like the sideline regulations, because I think that's going to be silly. If they suspend him, then they need to like no one should be allowed on the sideline, because if that's what you guys are worried about, then don't put us in that position. Like get everyone off the sideline, get everyone away from us, like because that's absurd if they do end up suspending him. I can see if they want to find.
So many sideline dweebs are going to be scared for their life now. They're probably petitioning Roger as we speak.
No question. No question. If you're Breitbart today is like, if you're talking about Columbus Day but not Devontae Adams, you're part of the problem. Like shit like that, dude. So I just hate these discussions, man. Like
Twitter isn't a real place.
Twitter is not a real place.
No.
But what a dynamite segue, Nate. You fucking you pro.
Yeah.
I was driving in today and I was like, man, I got this segment idea, and it probably sucks.
No, it's
but
amazing.
Actually it turned out to be a pretty good idea, because like there's so many great takes on Twitter, and I want to give people credit for their takes, but I also want to discuss them in an organic but orderly way. And so we can go with retweet or reply, and basically we're gonna run through some tweets on Wednesdays, and we're gonna either retweet them because we like them, or we're going to reply and talk about why we don't. We're going to reply no matter what, but you get the idea.
Well, we should.
What about quote tweet?
We should really.
Quote tweet
I might quote tweet. Yeah. If we want to retweet, you just say, hey, just retweet, and just move on to the next one. If you want to quote tweet them, we can talk about them.
First retweet or reply, we're talking about RG3's comments on Ron Rivera. He was asked the other day why the Commanders were behind the other teams in the NFC East. Ron Rivera said quarterback. RG3's tweet, you guys decide, retweet or reply. RG3 said, you never do this to your quarterback. The difference between Washington and the rest of the division is coaching. Daniel Jones has a first-time head coach, and they look the best they have in years. The Cowboys have gone undefeated with their backup quarterback. Coaching matters.
I just want to say this first off. RG3 is a great follow. He loves capitalizing words in his tweets. I'm going to quote tweet this. Because I agree with him. You never do this to your quarterback. But it really doesn't matter after that. Like none of the like why Washington sucks matters. None of okay. And Kingston's literally quote tweeting in real time. But no, we've got a bunch of stuff in here about Daniel Jones, first-year head coaches, the Cowboys going undefeated with a back. And I understand what Ron Rivera's point would have been had he made it properly and said, we haven't had the continuity here to get Carson Wentz in a groove, but what he did is threw Carson under the bus. And when he did it, I watched people's reactions. I thought it would be interesting because people fucking hate Carson, like viscerally hate Carson Wentz. I don't hate Carson Wentz, but people hate him. Something about him really bothers people. And to see people rushing to Carson's defense shows you how bad this is. And Ron Rivera came out. He apologized. He talked to the team in the morning and all that stuff. But he's a smart man, and he knows how sound bites work. And he was given ample time after his answer to qualify it. Same thing I just said about giving a take on Devontae Adams, and he knows this. You know, you can lead with the context and finish with so ultimately we need better quarterback play. But when you just go quarterback and you stand there and stare at the pool of reporters, like, the message is sent. And as a football player, I think it's below the belt, and I really like Ron, and I thought this was out of character because we can't do this to coaches. We can't. You know how many times in my career I could have gotten up there after the game and been like, yeah, we're playing off the whole fucking day. Like, we're not pressing. We're just giving up, 5-yard outs the whole day. You asking me why the D-line couldn't get there? Oh, our corners suck. The coaches are in too high. Hey,
you can do it.
What? No, you can.
You can't. You can't throw coaches under the bus. You can't.
You know that.
You cannot
you
throw
can.
a coach under the bus.
And when you do, people are like, hey, you just can't do that. And I remember one time in practice, and I'm not going to name the coach, but I was walking from one drill to the next after a loss, and one of the coaches was like, "You too tired to jog or something like that?" And I was like, "I'll start jogging when you stop getting out coached." and that coach did not like that. The coordinator pulled me aside. I was like, "We never do that." And I did that in the privacy of our home. Had I done that at the podium, like, it'd be like all hell broke loose and they'd probably trade me. But Ron Rivera can do that to Carson Wentz, and it's bullshit. Even though it's true that quarterback play is a lot of the reason why they're not where they want to be right now.
You really said that to a coach?
Yeah.
Did you feel like that? Those memes when you get the glasses, the ultimate gangster memes.
Yeah, deal with it. They put the glasses on me. Deal with it. But you know what? Like a shot of truth. It's a coach's favorite thing when it's directed at the players, but when it's directed upstairs, it's not my favorite thing.
But it's Riverboat Ron. Like he does things differently. He doesn't think like everyone else. Maybe this is like a motivation.
An analytics guy.
So what if Carson Wentz just starts picking it up after this? Now, does he look like maybe he lit the fire under him? Maybe he thinks that's what Carson. Maybe he needs to be embarrassed publicly.
Well,
and he's going to get it together.
I also think he's getting ready for a Thursday night game where if he loses, he could be like the seat could literally burn his ass. Like it's.
So why wouldn't you be trying every tactic out of the book?
But what we're talking about, is it right or is it wrong? And to me, it's wrong.
Yeah, if I'm going with option C, if we're getting back to our retweet or reply, I'm going to favorite that one from the bushes and just kind of watch that one, monitor that situation.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I would probably like it also.
Okay. This is good.
Retweet or reply number 2. We've got Dave Damashek. He responded to a tweet, the -3 podcast. He said, the NFL 2022, the season that no one enjoyed, except Deshaun Watson, going to be just great when he wins the Super Bowl in February. He posted that with 4 pictures. Tom Brady, Tua after that big hit a couple weeks ago, Melvin Gordon staring at Russell Wilson, and Carson Wentz on the ground.
Yeah.
That's a great tweet.
Bro,
I'm retweeting that one.
Yeah, I'm actually replying with a GIF of Leo on the couch and pointing because it just perfectly encapsulates something I couldn't put into words, which is that this season has bad vibes.
Yeah, it's been a weird one.
It really does.
It's been weird. We've been talking about this. I was talking about this with some buddies with Bucks. I hang out with all these Bucks guys down here. There's been some bad ball and some weird shit that's happened this year, and it's like, hopefully we can get it squared away down the stretch. But I am with that tweet. I'm retweeting that bad boy.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna retweet because the icing on the cake is that I do feel like Deshaun Watson's going to go to the Super Bowl.
And it's just going to be...
And the NFL is going to have to deal... what do you do for marketing? They're going to have to deal with all of that.
Going to have to drop all your massage-related sponsors.
Or give them a commercial space. Massage Envy, you're going to get the biggest commercial spots.
So lean into it.
so listen to all the. I've made a list of shitty things. Tua obviously is tough because he was one of the only feel good stories.
Bad reffing.
The bad officiating, which is a constant every year. There's something different. Russ, okay, he's in the pictures. Carson and Ron, Dan Campbell. There's nothing but bad vibes about the Lions right now. Deshaun Watson, you mentioned it. Scoring is down. Mac Jones limping off, looking like he's in, like his leg got severed. It's a high ankle. Brady divorce. Right? So you have Brady.
I know those.
Jameis transverse fracture. Burrow's O-line struggles. Rodgers is he's trying to manifest.
Look.
Kyler studying. Rams suck. Dude, like there's so many bad vibe stories in the NFL this year.
Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks is bad for them now. It keeps that going, and no one wants Hard Knocks because after they have Hard Knocks, they don't play well.
Oh yeah, the Hard Knocks.
Detroit.
Yeah, is that? Well, you know, I think it might
Chicken
be.
or
I don't
egg,
know if it's a
though,
chicken or
Hard
egg thing. It's,
Yeah,
it's
chicken
kind of
or
like
egg.
the running the ball leads to more victories. Well,
Yeah, like don't they only put aren't good teams don't you have to have a new head coach and like have a losing program in order to qualify for Hard Knocks?
Yes.
So it's like
Yes.
the programs that are gonna, the perennial, powerhouse, like you don't see the Kansas City Chiefs on Hard Knocks.
Matt, that was like my Sue Bird stat of every time she threw out a first pitch, the Mariners missed the playoffs.
That was a wild conspiracy theory.
Well, I enjoyed
all
chefing
of
it
this NFL weirdness is lining up for the New York Jets. It does feel it, is this the year? 1969.
It's upside down land, dude.
mhm.
It's both New York teams are good.
I'm loving everything you're saying. I'm gonna be very honest.
All three of them.
We need
Let's get
to
Zach
do like
Wilson
a
a fur coat.
seance
Yes.
or something for these bad vibes. Like we need to light some of that seance.
We really
or
do
whatever
need
the
to
hell
do
it is.
I meant to
a
bring it.
shrine.
You know-
One player,
Yeah.
one storyline at a time. Each pod, we're going to do a shrine. I've got prayer candles unless we throw them out, but we can go back and get some more.
I as a bit, I was gonna come in here last week with a sage stick to light it, just to make
Yeah,
sure we
sage.
have good vibes. But I
Man,
was
you
gonna
could have
do it
done
for-
that bit next week.
I was gonna do it for Thursday, but
Okay.
I didn't know that it's just audio. So
Yeah, I
that,
like
that
sage.
doesn't really
I like
that doesn't
sage.
really work.
I like sage.
Retweet a reply with Field Yates. He tweeted a image of the Bears uniform that they're going to wear on Thursday night against the Commanders. It's a debut of their orange alternate helmets. What do we think?
Reply, fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji. That's
Yeah.
what I'm doing.
Quote tweet. Fucking awesome. All of these helmets, not all of them, but some of them are really awesome. Like that Cardinals helmet was great Sunday. The Eagles have a black helmet now. Giants have their old school helmet this year. So it's really cool.
I don't love them.
Jesus Christ.
If they're playing well, I don't know. It doesn't really get my dick hard. I don't know what to say else.
It's kind of like unlocking.
That's
It's
all
like-
I got.
It's like Madden. It's like Madden in real life. Seeing teams make new helmets. Kind of when you're playing the game that you get to unlock different uniforms and jerseys after like going so far.
Yeah.
And now that it's happening and you're seeing different helmets, it's kind of cool.
The Bears-
and it just switches things up. Like little difference. It never hurt anything.
The Bears, if you throw under 10 passes in a game, you unlock an orange helmet. Bro, when my kid got the golden Mario, it was like, on Mario Kart 8, by the way, which is the best game ever.
Retweet a reply with Bill Simmons. Bill tweeted, in 2022, an NFL head coach would jump out of a 4th-floor window because analytics say it's faster than taking the stairs.
It's pretty
I'm
funny. It's a
replying.
funny tweet.
Reply, does it equal a win if I jump out the window?
Right, exactly. Well, okay, Bo, go ahead, because I have more questions than answers.
I'm replying. It's like when you're in blackjack, all right? You hit on a 12 and you bust, and it's like, oh, well, the book says you should have done it. That's a little bit of how I feel about coaches with the analytics. You got a little bit of a fallback.
Yeah,
the
and,
analytics.
and Josh didn't take that out last night. I mean, because the analytics
No.
were split on the decision, he could have certainly blamed it on that. But I think number one, you get some people get caught in the crossfire of that guy probably did it for analytics, when in reality he just went with his gut. But people applied their logic, which has become so dominant. Like the way people, it's sometimes the most unnecessary subplot that we've just forced. I think Twitter has affected the way the NFL is played, dude. I really do. I think Twitter and just think about it. It's fucking crazy. I really think chatter kind of works its way into NFL spaces. And I think over the past, I don't know how many years, but this has become a big thing. And now we're kind of at that crossroads. It's not a crossroads. analytics are important when used correctly, but where we're like maybe a little much analytics. And I think it's going to be interesting over the next couple of years how analytics shape analytics. That might sound like I'm been hitting the pen here, but the way that analytics instruct analytics going forward, right? Because I have questions here. I'm not alleging to know anything. I've talked to people in NFL circles. I know who has strong departments for analytics. Like the Eagles have a really strong analytics department. I think they have 4 people on staff there. That's a big budget allocation for analytics and numbers.
4 quants, so 4 people just specifically just doing math all the time.
All day, like human computers. And then in Seattle, I think they just launched an analytics department and it's got 1 person in it. So there's a delta, to use a math word, between the people that care and don't. It's not an even playing field. But what's really interesting is I don't know how far back each team are going to gather their numbers. And Beau, like, if you're going back far enough, the sample size for people that are actually informing their decisions with numbers, it's small. And so, like, the guys that were doing this 10 years ago, maybe they were the most aggressive, most brilliant coaches in the NFL and maybe had the best offenses. So, like, hey, if you do this, if you do X, then Y happens. Okay, how does it change as now all these bad teams and bad coaches objectively join the party and they're like, oh, this is what we're doing. So now you've got a bunch of bad teams and bad coaches making analytical decisions regardless of the context surrounding their team or that game. And the analytics change over time because the sample size grows. So, like, is there a reset? Are you kind of like, and somebody is rolling their eyes at home like, this is how statistics work, but maybe it doesn't in the NFL. Like,
this is what I want, Chris. I want some analytics on analytics. Let's get some meta analytics in here.
Well, think about it, Beau, and maybe I could put this better, but like, now all of a sudden in the past couple of years, everybody's doing it. So the sample size changes greatly. And the people doing it, like, there's some bad teams, there's some bad coaches. What's that going to do in the future for how are we updating the sample size every 3 years? Like, are we keeping it current? Like, are we going off of what happened last year? What's your control for yourself? Bad teams are going to skew the numbers. And and Brandon Staley, like, I heard this yesterday from Kyle Van Noy after the 4th and 2 decision. He was like, yeah, well, he trusts us and so on and so forth, which I don't know if he means that. I think he probably means that. I know Kyle. Brandon trusts the numbers, man. It's not even, it's a cold calculation. It's not about you. It's not about the team. Because if you trust the numbers, that's not a declaration on how much you trust your team. It's just a declaration on how much you trust the numbers. And, even self-scout models, all the statistical models are assuming you're going to replicate your performance over the last 5 weeks. Things change. Things change within the game.
And
so
these teams are competing against each other, so they're not going to make these models public. Like, those are proprietary that they want to keep to themselves.
Right.
And in some way, it's kind of like how we look at elections. Like, we take the information from the most recent election to mostly project the next one, but we also look at the one before that and the one before that, but don't give them as much statistical value.
Like, they weight it differently.
Right.
And so I wonder how much they're weighting their analytics based on, recency.
Well, and I'm sure the Eagles are doing it differently than maybe the Seahawks, and that's like another little battle.
And there's so much information out there these days. I mean, in the fucking real world and on the football field, the real battle is figuring out how to apply it to each individual scenario. You know what I mean? I think we're all kind of saying the same thing.
No, it's just there's a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes, and I have no idea how it's working. Like, we kind of trust analytics like it's this monolith, but there's different models even for subscription-based like services like NGS or the even like the free 4th down decision bot on Twitter we talked about. That was, they thought differently than NGS did about Brandon Staley's call. So, like, we're just assuming everybody's going off the same sheet, and they're not. And the way they weight, the recency of the sample size is different in each program. Maybe the way the numbers are coming out are different because the sample size grows and bad teams come to the party and bad execution.
At the end of the day, like, wouldn't like these be the same analytics that they're basically using for like Madden, like simulating the game in a season? Like, at the end of the day,
thinking about becoming a head coach?
I mean, like, if it's all doing and trying to predict all the same thing, there's probably just a monetary value on getting that software or whatever that computer is, and finding one person who knows how to understand it and input numbers. Because if you're just going to listen to it all the time, like, why couldn't that be a head coach?
So I'm probably going to quote tweet this because it's true. Not every NFL coach is jumping out of the fourth floor window, because some people we criticize for not being aggressive enough. I just think it's more prevalent and we understand it better. We know it's in the room, and now we're always looking at analytics. Case in point, Josh McDaniels, 2-point conversion. Not analytics driven, but people are mad at numbers last night at midnight. And so, yeah, it's complicated and we don't understand it. I guess what I'm saying is, like, I don't fucking understand it. Like, I understand what they are. I understand the application, but we can't assume everybody's going off the same sheet. We don't know how the sheet's going to change over the next couple of years because of the sample size.
And we don't know how the staffs are applying the different analytics. And they also, teams protect their information. They know things that we, as fans and people that are watching the game, don't know. But it is interesting to, the interesting thing about, I mean, we're talking about Twitter here, but like social media, Twitter, or fans watching football is we all love commenting on the games. We all love feeling like we know what the fuck is going on, what we would do in situations, and pretending like we're, head coaches with the access to all the information that they have. They know so much more about their team than we do, and they've been prepping for this game. I mean,
that's a great point, though. But no, it's a great point, though. And
I just don't think we have access to the same analytics that these multi-million-dollar organizations have.
And it's the one place that we perceive we have a bulletproof in to talking about the game and shouting down a player or like a football guy. Everybody can read numbers, right? Anybody can do math.
Retweet or reply with the Herd with Colin Coward. They shared a video of Sean Payton in studio talking about the now open Carolina Panthers job. Sean Payton said, "It's almost a unicorn, the open job with a great quarterback waiting for you to come in and be the foster parent."
Oh, he said, wait, I missed the great quarterback part.
Wow, sounds like Sean Payton wants that job, huh?
He said there's a great quarterback there?
He did. It's almost a unicorn, the open job with a great quarterback waiting for you to come in and be the foster parent.
I think his language is interesting there, because at the time he would take this job, Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold could be free agents. So, like, he's got somebody in mind as he watches Carolina.
He plays at Ohio State right now.
Yeah, exactly. He's got somebody in mind that he's like, that's a great quarterback. I think this is an attractive job. I really do. And I'll point out the number one reason here. The number one reason is that division is an unknown commodity in the next couple years. Think about this. Brady's 45. There's no way if I'm Brady, I'm like, yeah, let me run it back after this. Unless you want out and finish somewhere else. You're not married. You're like, fuck, I'll play till I'm 50. Like, nothing to worry about. But, like, I don't think Tampa is a place he's excited about being over the next 2 to 3 years. Like, this year has been tough sledding for him. Unless they win a Super Bowl or something like that, and then he might ride off in the sunset. But I don't see Brady being an impediment over the next 3 to 5 years in Tampa. I don't see who the quarterback is down in New Orleans. I don't know who the quarterback is in Atlanta, although they've made strides. So you're entering a power vacuum that you could occupy with a win-now defense, which is big for a younger QB. Look at QBs historically, even not elite ones like Mark Sanchez. Look what you can do with a young quarterback who can get the job done and a win-now defense. Also, got a lot of people you can trade away and shed $11 million in cap money and grab some assets for like a DJ Moore or CMC, who's like 26 now and has a lot of injuries. Like, now would be the time. And you don't have a 3 or 6 next year in the draft, but you've got picks and you're going to have a high one. So I think it's a very attractive job.
Yeah, my gut reaction, you're pretty convincing, Chris, because my gut reaction, I thought that was a stupid thing that Sean Payton said, but talking about it a little more, I actually am kind of with you. You kind of won me over.
That's my job. That's my job.
Yes. So I'm just going to retweet that one. I kind of like that.
So you're going to retweet my quote tweet.
I'm going to retweet your quote tweet.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
Just got to ride your coattails some more, baby. Come on.
We've got 2 more tweets that aren't technically a retweet or reply. We just want you... They're more questions that we want to hit you an answer from. So Ricky Gervais tweeted, which 3 pairs would you eradicate from the world? television and dysentery, alcohol and famine, pets and AIDS, comedy and terrorism, nonsense and books, war and medicine, serial killers and holidays.
Do we have computers still? Like, televisions are going away anyway.
You're right about that.
So,
Okay.
like, that's
So
like a no issue.
we could probably eradicate.
No, I got some good TV shows out here that I'm watching, Dr. Facts. You can't get rid of television in the middle of Rings of Power.
I can't get rid of
gotta tune in.
medicine. I'm not really willing to part ways with medicine. You know, I'm not ready to die from polio.
Yeah, but war.
I know.
War and medicine. That's a power one. Ooh.
Serial killers and holidays. Yeah, I mean, like holidays.
If you get rid of war, then you don't need medicine.
Not true.
You know?
Not true.
That's not true. Objectively not true. I needed medicine 2 nights ago. I didn't just get back from Vietnam, dude. I had
You need
a cough.
that medicine for dysentery, bro. And AIDS.
It's gone, though, with
crossover.
television.
Okay. Pets. Yeah, I don't need to own an animal. I mean, my bulldog is awesome. My lab is getting there. Shout out to Willie. But, like, AIDS is terrible.
Pets and AIDS, I agree with you, Chris.
All right, alcohol, famine, serial killers, and holidays. And then the third one for me would probably be television and dysentery. Those are going to be my 3.
I'm going to get rid of serial killers and holidays. I'm going to get rid of pets and AIDS. And I'm going to get rid of alcohol and famine. Because what's going on here is Ricky Gervais is trying to mind fuck me into saying that me getting drunk once a week is more important than people starving. And I'm not going to do that.
Agreed, Chris.
So I'm going to give
going
up alcohol.
Alcohol, famine, pets and AIDS.
Okay.
Nonsense and books. I could noodle on this one all night. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what she said.
CNBC tweeted, 2-time Oscar winner Tom Hanks says he's made 4 pretty good movies in his 40-year career. What are those 4 movies?
Easy.
Knowing
hold
Tom
on.
Hanks's
Easy.
filmography.
Okay.
Toy
Easy.
Story count?
I was just about to say Toy Story 1 through 4. Game over. Tom Hanks.
I mean,
see
here's
Castaway?
my Tom Hanks. I love Tom Hanks. He has made some shitty movies that he gets a pass for.
Okay. Talk to
Cloud
us.
Atlas? You ever seen Cloud Atlas?
No.
It's actually good.
Okay. It's not Forrest Gump, okay?
But Forrest Gump, Forrest Gump's been talked about in this podcast. Forrest Gump is in the crosshairs, man. Supposedly
Have you
overrated.
seen the new Elvis movie? Tom Hanks made some perplexing choices in that one. I'm
not watching the Elvis movie.
I liked it, actually. I liked it. But Tom Hanks was probably the worst part of it. Austin Butler killed it, I thought. I don't know. Check it out. But Tom Hanks was kind of weird in that movie. It's kind of
You're
weird
right. I'm
movie.
kind of scrolling down. There's a lot of these Tom Hanks movies that I'm like, oh.
Yo,
But
it has
I'm
to be- it
a
has to
big
be
Castaway
Woody.
guy. So I
It
mean,
has
like,
to be
Castaway,
Woody, bro. Bro, it has to be Woody playing Toy Story.
bro, you might have a case here, dude.
Road to Perdition.
No,
Saving
he had a
Private Ryan's
stretch.
awesome.
Apollo 13, great movie.
Apollo 13, great. Yeah, there's some good movies here.
The Green Mile, great movie.
Sully just gives me anxiety.
Charlie
Joe
Wilson's
versus
War.
the Volcanoes, low-key a good movie.
Philadelphia is kind of heavy.
Mhm.
Don't
I
think I'm
could do
just gonna
that.
curl up to Philadelphia anytime soon. So
Yeah, but, I mean, we eliminated AIDS, so.
we did. You're right. Great callback. Might have to keep that just for a callback.
So
Okay.
Castaway, I'm going Castaway, Toy Story, Forrest Gump. Like, Forrest Gump it's just a classic. You have to. It's
Okay.
synonymous with Tom Hanks.
Okay.
you know?
Okay.
He also
Terminal
played
is a
about
good movie.
Charlie Wilson's War.
Terminal is a great movie. He
That
also
Thing
played
You
like
Do?
7 characters in the Polar Express.
Howie Long
yeah, true.
he made the extended cut of That Thing You Do. He was supposed to be Tom Hanks's boyfriend or something like that.
Nah.
He wasn't gay in the movie.
No, I don't
My dad
think so.
wasn't gay in the movie.
No, it's a good deleted scene.
What was he doing?
He's just like a big.
You've seen the
jacked-
deleted scene?
Yeah. I had a whole like best deleted scenes in movie history segment that I was working on, but he's up there. It's very good.
Okay.
But they're just business partners. Maybe I
News of
misinterpreted
the World
partner.
kind of sucked.
You sure you weren't picking up what they were putting down? I gotta ask my dad. I think he was supposed to be gay in That Thing You Do.
And this fucker's been in some good movies. Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah,
One of the
so
best.
good.
one of the best holiday movies there ever is.
It's a weird thing, Tom Hanks's discography here.
Filmography.
I know.
Big is kind of a fucked up movie if you think about it. Let's talk about this.
Kind of an immature character.
And he's banging a girl in that movie, like a woman. Imagine if the roles were a little bit reversed.
We still talking Tom Hanks?
Imagine if the gender roles are reversed in Big. He's getting his ass canceled.
Yeah, you know what, Beau?
Yeah.
You're pretty good on Tom Hanks stuff.
I watch a lot of movies, dude. That's why I'm not trying to eliminate television.
We'll jump to mailbag.
Let's jump there.
Chatsworth asks, you're on a desert island. You get one album, one board game, and one Hall of Fame athlete to play with. Who are you choosing?
Okay, first things first. Am I understanding the question correctly? You're basically in an island that you're stuck.
That's right.
But
you're waiting. It's Castaway. It's
okay,
Castaway if you get to bring
Yeah.
an
Okay, and that's what
album and a
they-
friend who is in the Hall of Fame of any sport and a board game.
So we get a board game, an album, and a Hall of Famer in any sport to Michael Phelps would be a cheat code here, but I'm not going to pick Michael Phelps because he could just swim everywhere and get.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
There's a wing just for him in the Swimming Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But when they say deserted island, a lot of times I'm like, well, deserted or desert? Because desert implies no vegetation, nothing you can gather, hunt for. So I'm going to go with there's stuff on the island. Okay. Is this Hall of Famer in their prime?
Current age.
Let's pick a
Current
Hall
age?
of Famer.
Well, I can't because I was thinking about Harold Carmichael, and he's 6
Hall
foot
of Famers
8.
are always in their prime, bro.
No, they're not because Harold's like 60, 70 years old, man. Like, I could be here a while. You know what I mean? Like, also, I want Harold Carmichael, the guy who was catching, high pointing the ball for Jaws and shit. Like, so
I'm ready.
I'm going
ready.
with,
I
I'll
have
tell you,
mine.
I have mine too. Hold on, because this is, put a lot of thought into this while Reed was in the bathroom. I want Tim Duncan. He's literally from the islands. He's how tall?
He's 6'11",
So spearfishing's going to be a breeze. Spearfishing finna be a breeze.
and he's not going to talk your ear off.
He's cool. He's cool as fuck. He probably
Yeah.
showed up in a giant pair of jeans. I can fashion those into something to survive with. And then
Like a wind
think about
sail?
it, coconuts. I can live off coconuts, man. He's just gonna reach up there and grab those motherfuckers, dude. Yeah, like, so I think tall, fun to play categories with. Not technically a board game, but it's also not technically a desert island. And then, Dark Side of the Moon. I can't go without Dark Side of the Moon.
All right, I'm going. Well, dude, I was gonna say, God damn it. I'm going Serena Williams, obviously.
Dang, he's going my route.
Because you want a
Yeah.
chick there, but I'm married and I love my wife. So
Serena Williams, she
I would hate
can
for
literally
wonder
do
what's
it
going
all,
on
and
there.
I'm so attracted to her, which is such a good thing. Board games, big Settlers of Catan guy. Can't get enough of it.
Let's
You
go.
know, playing with Serena has always been a pleasure. I was gonna say Dark Side of the Moon too, Chris, but I gotta pivot. Let me think about that. Facts, if you wanna take, I'll go.
I'll be more
let me think
wholesome.
about that.
I'm going Monopoly, and I am picking my sister, Alicia Collins, because she is being inducted into her college's Hall of Fame next month. Stonehill Skyhawks basketball D2 Women's Hall of Fame. So shout out to Alicia Collins.
Well, here's the deal. I didn't want to pick my dad because I thought it would be kind of a cheat.
No, I mean, why not? I mean, this says Hall of Fame.
And also, yeah, I guess I could pick my dad.
I could have picked, I could have picked my pops.
I tried to
Actually-
make it interesting. Plus the coconuts and the spearfishing.
I should have picked your dad. I'm
You
going.
should have picked my dad.
I
There's
want
a
to
lot
hang
of
out
people
with Howie.
screaming at their stereo right now. Is that how you listen to podcasts?
And I'm
I'm
going,
going
album.
I'm going-
I'm going Life and Times Volume 3, Sean Carter, Jay-Z album.
It's gonna be a beautiful sunset. And you're gonna be listening to like. Okay.
I'm going Random Access Memories, Daft Punk, me and Serena just fucking vibing on the island.
That's good.
Vibing.
NP Sully Sullivan asks, what fast food restaurant would you rob if you could be Jack Jones for a day. This is a callback to Jack Jones's collegiate career at USC. He robbed a Panda Express.
When I heard, you know what I had said when I heard this? He robbed a Panda Express. I was kind of wondering. I was like, damn. You know, Bill's like, oh, he's a pretty fucking good player. He decided to rob a fucking Panda Express. That's how he fell to the 4th round, dude. This is the guy for the Patriots who has a bunch of picks already, and people were like, how did he slide? It's because he robbed a Panda Express. I just learned this.
Times is hard.
I'm gonna rob a KFC Long John Silver's combo.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah,
no way.
Just go in the you know that the
little bit
rest
of both.
stops that have like 4 fast food restaurants.
But, like,
just hit them all.
Yeah, but like,
yo,
I feel like
the
a
highways right there.
But I think about a Long John Silver's. You could go in there and they can literally have like $75 in the register.
And I thought I had a good.
Oh, I
point
thought we were talking about robbing food.
Oh, okay. He's taking. And so you want to eat Long John Silver's?
Are you gonna?
Yeah, on my island, bro. I'm eating that shit on the island with Serena and like a. You know how sometimes they have like A&W root beer combined with like a fucking Long John Silver's.
Bro,
I'm robbing one of those.
So you're taking the frozen stuff to cook later?
Bro, I'm thinking about money. He's thinking about fucking tendies.
Yeah,
Like-
I want to run away with some fish sticks, bro.
Bro, the guy likes fish sticks. Honestly,
hilarious.
it's crazy. You're gonna love the deserted island, but you picked the most mid fast food places, and you were after the fucking food, man.
Yeah, well, you know that you can walk in and try to rob a Long John Silver's. They're just like, all right, here you go. No
All right.
repercussions.
Well, then maybe
They're
my
not even
idea is not
reporting
so
you.
good because I was thinking Arby's because people tell me nobody's in those motherfuckers. I wouldn't know. I always dine out, not in. But like nobody's
if we're
in the
going
Arby's.
cash,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
if we're going. I'm going for like a Chick-fil-A then. You know, if I want that
I don't even
straight
know if
cash
Arby's
on me.
have-
or
I don't know if Chick-fil-A on a Sunday.
Or I'm
Everybody's at church. I'm robbing the cash register.
I'm going.
That's a burger.
I'm robbing
Perfect crime.
Popeyes after they dropped the chicken sandwich.
Yeah, that's true. There was a lot of money in that.
There was a lot.
But McDonald's, man, because you can dress as fucking Ronald McDonald. Think about that.
Isn't
The
better play to
Hamburglar.
be
You can
the
dress.
Hamburglar?
Yeah,
All the
you gotta
guys,
dress
no,
as the Hamburglar.
face paint and shit. Like they're like, people are like, oh, look, the kids are going crazy and everything, and everybody's yelling, and then you lean over in your Hamburglar mask and you're like, give me the fucking money, and like nobody knows what's going on. Everybody's like, oh, they're entertainers.
Logan Wallace, would you rather be a groomsman or be invited as a guest to the wedding?
Man, easy.
Oh,
Be invited.
here's the thing.
Be invited.
No.
I was just a
I need-
groomsman a couple of times, and it's fun, but it's just too much responsibility. And depending on
Yeah.
the bride and like the groom of the wedding, it's just a lot of pressure that you can only fuck shit up. Like, like no one really cares about you, and really there's a lot of pressure on you, like as a groomsman, to like fuck things up. So
Yeah.
I think I would rather just enjoy myself, get drunk, not have any responsibilities, just show up. Because when you're a guest, that's what you have to do. You just have to show up and get drunk and be nice to the bride and groom.
No, I think you're right, but I want to hear what Beau has to say too. So before I give you my take.
Here's the thing. I want the spotlight. I'm low key butthurt
Totally,
if I'm not made a groomsman at weddings. But then you do like 3 or 4, and you're like, "Fuck this!" And it's
Right?
exactly what you're saying. Facts. It gets
See?
old after a while, but then you're sitting in the you know, then you're just watching it. You don't have any behind the scenes. It's fun to get that behind the scenes wedding drama that you can get when you're a groomsman. You know.
So here
Talk
are the
some shit about
pros
the
and
bridesmaids.
cons. Here are the pros and cons, Beau. Pros: ready-made sex. If you're like a good-looking single guy and there's like a single gal on the other side of the deal, like you have it's an alley-oop
That's a
for a
movie
hookup.
thing. That's a movie thing.
Oh, it's an
Yeah.
alley-oop
No.
for a hookup, man.
That's a movie thing. Usually on the other side, you usually have a date still, and the other side, she usually has a date still. And like
You're probably right
theory-
about that. But in movies, everybody's single and shit, and people fall in love at weddings. So that's my only experience as a single guy is through the lens of a guy in a movie. And there's always some chick on the other side of the bride.
It's like perfect.
Yeah, so that's a pro, I guess not a pro. So this supports I'm with you. Hot bridesmaids. Okay, well that's also like the same thing. And then, oh, you got to stand up during the wedding. A lot of people think that's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. Because you get real stiff at this age sitting. You want to stand, dude. Once I broke a chair at Robert Quinn's wedding. Why? What happened?
I was at a wedding recently, and one of my good friends that I grew up with, we were groomsmen together, and we got pretty hammered the night before. And the wedding planner told us plenty of times, what's the one thing you can't do while you're standing for a long time?
What
Lock
can't
your
you
knees.
Do not lock your knees.
Oh, you did it.
Not me. My friend did. And on the peel out of when all the groomsmen were supposed to walk to get to the front row, our buddy was halfway into passing out, and like while walking out, walked straight into the wall. And like one of our other groomsmen had to grab him and slide out this side door like really smoothly, but it was like a scary instant.
Damn, dude.
But it's like it was one of those things where like we laughed about it, but like the lady said it like 4 or 5 times. We were like, she's like, no, like you guys are laughing, but she's like, don't lock your knees. Like you guys are gonna be standing for like 10 minutes, and like it's easy. It's easy to forget about it, but don't do it.
So standing at the thing, I think is still a positive. Just do it the right way. And then Khan's bachelor party, big Khan at this age, especially.
Whoa.
Like I don't now, Beau. You're like you live in Florida, bro. Like
I'm
you're
bored,
younger,
dude. I need that.
You're single. Like you're good
That's
looking.
game day.
Beau. I don't.
Say that again for
I
the
did it
people
for
at
you,
home.
man. You're good looking. And then so you go out on a bachelor party at this age. It's so fucking. You only get so many trips as a dude. I don't like hall passes from your wife. You don't want to go to fucking Atlantic City with 14 dudes and button downs that you don't know and have to plan shit and like just be annoyed by half the people. Like no, Khan's bachelor party, Khan's rehearsal dinner, Khan's
Rehearsal dinner, huge con.
Cons, you're not the best man and you're close, so that kind of hurts people, I think. Beau sounds like one of those people. You have to get close to the other guys. And then you got to go to like Men's Warehouse, which I like. I like going to Men's Warehouse. I don't like having to put on clothes that don't fit me well. You know, like, they're like, oh, no.
That's another thing.
Yeah, as a big guy, when they send you the suit, you're like.
I couldn't even, the suits we had rented, I couldn't even dance fully like I wanted to.
Oh, that's the worst part.
I thought I was
I've ripped a lot of pants.
See, I was so scared to rip my rental pants.
Bro, but here's what's the worst part. You said dance. It reminded me. Here's the absolute worst part of being a groomsman, especially at a black wedding, which I love black weddings. It's my favorite thing ever. But the fact I would rather spectate than have to have an entrance dance. I got no rhythm, which I don't.
Spotlight is the one time for white guys. Like you can dance with no rhythm, and like everyone loves it.
I know, but it feels like I'm running out of the tunnel for a game, dude. Like honestly, dude. I'm telling you, and I nailed it at Clint's wedding, bro. Like everybody fucking cheered, and we're like so into it.
Lit.
But it's terror inducing, man. And I'm looking over, and the chick's just like grooving, and I'm just like, it's terrible.
Oak 5. If you didn't know Macon, what would you say his profession is?
Ooh.
Dr. Kevorkian.
I feel like you guys
legitimately somebody in a state where they let you die on purpose. That's like
I don't know Macon as well as you guys. So like
euthanasia is what I'm talking about.
I would say train.
What about
conductor.
like an actuary? Is that a thing? Like an actuary?
An actuary.
He's an actuary. He's just crunching numbers or something. I don't know.
Amtrak train conductor.
What the fuck is an actuary?
Yep.
An actuary is somebody that
With
calculates like
with
interest
the hat
rates
and
and
shit.
shit for banks.
Yep.
Yeah, actuary.
It's so funny
sure.
you said Dr. Kevorkian because my number one answer was mortician.
Definitely something that has to do with death.
And then I got wedding planner, flight attendant,
I just was gonna say that.
hairstylist, and actor.
I was gonna say I can see him being a flight attendant, or actually, I can see him working like being the head of like complaints for like a airline.
HR.
Yeah, for like an airline or someone big like that.
If he would just grow some facial hair, I could see him being a whole host of things. All of them decent. He had a beard. He looked fucking cool as shit. I still think he looks cool. I'm just saying that look kind of narrows the career. He's shaved. He's got a nice haircut. Like
Good looking dude.
just grow the beard out a little bit. You could be a crab fisherman or a fucking hardline work.
A talent manager.
He probably could be a good PI.
Yeah,
he could be a stunt double for Mr. Beast.
Oh my God, he could.
Yeah, that's very
Holy
true.
Shit.
Yep. Yeah. And Mr. Beast does a lot of videos where they probably can use stunt doubles and stand-ins, and he could probably make good money doing that.
All right.
Marry, fuck, kill. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Killing lunch.
Killing lunch. Murdering lunch immediately.
Just driving the fucking car back and forth over lunch's dead body in my driveway.
I think I'm agreeing with you.
I'm
hate
marrying
lunch,
breakfast.
dude. I hate lunch. Lunch is the way people deliver some bad news or fucking ask you for something enormous. Like, let's go to lunch. Haven't caught up in a while. Why don't we do lunch? Which is worse. If you're gonna solicit me for something, just do it in 5 minutes. I don't need to read the menu, fucking order a sandwich.
People like to get out of the office for an hour.
That's my thing. Is I'm not a,
You're not like a 9 to 5 office guy. So.
Well, I was a lifetime football player, so there was never like I'm going to Hamilton's today for lunch. Like going to the cafeteria. So, and you know me, when I work here, I don't even eat lunch a lot of days. I skip lunch
or
and
you
forget.
Scarf it down in like 2 seconds.
Yeah. So yeah, breakfast is fine. Who marrying? Dinner.
I think I'm marrying breakfast. Yeah, me too.
Breakfast.
Breakfast
Elite
is more
breakfast food.
is more versatile, I think.
You can eat breakfast whenever.
I can eat dinner whenever. I eat dinner for breakfast.
Nah.
Dude, I swear to God, I have like chicken and mashed potatoes for breakfast.
I mean, you can, but
breakfast for dinner is way better than dinner for breakfast.
I don't care, dude. I'm on a floating meal schedule, dude. Meals don't have profiles for me. I don't see meal profiles. Breakfast, I get like food shipped, like ready-made shit.
Yep.
And I'll have meatloaf for breakfast. Who the fuck cares? Kind of a warm weather food, but I mean, like I'll have a cold weather food.
Boo.
Yeah.
I'm fucking dinner.
Yeah, I'm marrying dinner.
I'm fucking
I want it
dinner
every
too.
day. I want to fuck dinner every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm marrying it.
Is that what you do when you're married with something? You fuck it every day?
Well, I mean, like, you shoot for the stars, you get the moon.
You shoot for the stars, you land amongst the mashed potatoes and meatloaf.
And you make love to dinner. So, with great respect. So, a little housekeeping here. Beau, you got some housekeeping. I know you were playing a little pickleball.
Oh, I got a lot I want to talk about, Chris.
Okay.
Played some pickleball this afternoon with me, my buddy Ryan Griffin, who's a quarterback for the Bucks, our other friend Alan, and then Rob Gronkowski. Gronk said if I won, he would come on the pod. Went 2-2. We played for like 2 hours. It's 90 fucking degrees in Tampa. Sweated out a lot. But long story short, I sweet talked him a little bit, and he said he'd come out at some point.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm out here working for the pod, Chris. And then the other thing is I got this cactus.
Wait, did you win?
Well,
you said 2-2. Like,
Yeah,
you put it out there, you must have lost.
Tie goes to old teammates.
No, there were some wins in there. In my defense, my partner, we played some dubs, but I was the highest handicap out there.
Would I like
right?
pickleball, Beau? I don't even know how it works. It's like small
You'd
tennis?
like it.
I think you would.
It's more like ping pong in my mind, but it's kind of blown up a little bit. There's some nice courts down here. It's like U.S. softball, bro. It's like the softball version. It's
Or Florida.
It's like, yeah.
I think
Florida
LeBron, Kevin Durant, and Draymond Green just purchased a pickleball team.
I know. Dude, all these awesome NBA players are taking all the white guy pastimes, like sipping Merlot on the barbershop. LeBron's got that now. He's got pickleball. Like, what's next?
Let's do a green light pickleball team. I call team captain right here.
Okay,
right,
cool.
Yeah.
So, okay, pickleball is cool. We got that. Gronk might come on the show. That's great.
Yep.
The cactus, I warned you. I said, I don't think this makes the cut, but, you really want to talk about this cactus. Go right ahead.
It's watering day. I'm soaking it. You see it back here? Beautiful cactus. Think of a name. Polly. Kind of like Polly the cactus.
Polly?
So, yeah, that's Polly. Yeah. Along came Polly. Here we are right here.
Okay.
Cactus.
I don't have a clever name for the cactus. I'll come back to you. do you want to talk? Do you want to send well wishes to our gal?
Yeah. And then one other thing that I got is dear friend of mine, Adriana Chechik, is tragically injured. She's an actress, one of my personal favorites. She broke her back jumping into a foam pit at TwitchCon, which is surprising because, she's had her back blown out.
Okay, all right. I don't know who this is, but I think you're being a little bit mean-spirited. I don't know anything about this fine woman, but this
Chris,
sounds like you're making light of her injuries.
The doctor said
down.
I need a backiotomy.
Yeah. Well,
Spinal. But yeah, in all seriousness, I watched that video and I've seen a lot of her videos. That was one of the harder ones to watch, which is really saying something. But
is it?
Anyway, it sucks.
I think the others have good retention rates.
Yeah, so sit down, quiet night at home, and
I'm
check
wishing
that
her
one
the
out.
best as well. I have no idea who she is, but I'm wishing her the best as well. Nate, you want to wish her the best?
I wish her the best.
Yeah, and when she
Quick
gets well,
recovery.
when she gets well, she can come on the show.
Yeah, let's send her a care package.
Yeah,
We really
take it
should
easy.
send some arnica gel,
or
like some shit like that. I don't know what else, like maybe
some Bengay or
like a lumbar spine support.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like one of those back massagers,
Go to-
big ones. That
run to your closest sharper image. Probably has about 50 different things for your lower back.
I'm pretty sure like this gal has some back massagers laying around that maybe like that she can use for her back.
Oh yeah.
So, anyways, we wish her the best.
Friend of the pod.
If Beau has anything to do with it, pretty soon. Okay. Listen to the full podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast streaming platforms. Wherever you want to get the podcast, you can get the podcast. Pretty simple. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Podcasts get pretty wild. This is real tame.